our movie icon was Katharine Hepburn. I'm Paige.
I'm Christine. So Katharine Hepburn, she was born in 1907. She died in 2003. She has 85 acting credits. She has 44 featured films, 8 television movies, 33 plays. She won 4 Oscars. One of them was for Morning Glory in 1933. The second one was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner in 1968. The third one was The Lion in Winter in 1968. And the last one was On Golden Pond in 1981.
So her cultural impact and reaction by critics. She played a strong influence in the feminist movement. She experienced women's suffrage and was also highly prevalent during the first and second waves of feminism. She represented a strong and independent woman both in her life and in film. She caused scandal by going around Hollywood not wearing makeup and wearing trousers, unlike most stars during that time. She was actually the first woman to appear on screen with slacks, which opened up more opportunities for women in film. And she differed from the popular beauty standards, such as stars like Marilyn Monroe, who were praised for her sex appeal and her curves. She was more of a lanky physique, and she stayed true to her stylized personality by working with her costume designer heavily. She was also ranked the #1 female star of all time by the American Film Institute, showing that she was well received by critics. She represented an icon of American style and won 4 Oscars and was nominated for 9, which holds the record for women, showing that she was respected by the Academy as well.
Great the Kate the Great was what she was called. She had an unconventional attitude. She avoided extra media attention. She refused to conform to social constructed beauty standards, and relationship and scandal with Spencer's Tracy.
So Little Woman was one of the films we chose. It was filmed in 1933. It's a coming-of-age story that focuses on 4 girls. It's Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, and Jo is played by Katharine Hepburn. And it's about her father being away at war, and they're a poor family that are just getting by, and they're supported by their rich neighbors. And the rich boy that lives next door is named Laurie, and he falls for Jo, but she rejects his marriage proposal because she values her own ambitions over marriage and moves to New York to pursue her idea of becoming a writer. She only comes home to come and see her sister, Beth, who's struggling from scarlet fever and eventually dies. At the end of the film, Laurie is married to one of her other sisters, and the audience wonders what's going to happen to Jo, but we know she'll be fine because she doesn't need a man to complete herself and can go off her own ideas. A screen clip that I chose started at 25 and ended at 28. It's when Jo had directed and acted in this play. It shows that she's comfortable not conforming to the standards of femininity during her time because she played a male called Rodrigo, and which also relates to her wearing trousers and dressing as a man opposed to wearing a big poofy dress. Her sister Amy, on the other hand, is the exact opposite, who wasn't even comfortable with fainting in the play because she was afraid to damage herself and was too fragile.
Katharine Hepburn did Woman of the Year in 1942. She played Tess, a political journalist who gets married to a sports writer named Sam Craig. She's highly educated and speaks multiple languages. She has butlers and maids, so she doesn't do the typical housewife stuff. In this clip, we see her attempting to do the typical housewife stuff like cooking, and we see her fail at it. We chose some quotes that resonated with us. There was 2 that resonated with me. The first one was when the aunt talks to her before her wedding, before the aunt's wedding, and she says, "Success is no fun unless you share it with someone." The second one was said by Sam Craig after Tess completely fails at being a housewife. He says, "Why do you have to go through extremes, Tess? I don't want to be married to Tess Harding any more than I want you to be Miss Sam Craig. Why can't you be Tess Harding Craig?"
And then another quote that was said by Katharine in her life is, if you obey all the rules, you miss all the fun, which I thought was really representative of her portrayal in her films, where she's just rowdy and not afraid to be different and be who she is and authentic to herself. And also, I thought this shows how she felt that the expectations of women in her time were oppressive, so she was going to reject them in order to get everything she could.
Women can be greater than their expectations. This is something that I learned from researching her life. She was a strong character, but then she ended up marrying this guy that is completely opposite of her. This guy who expected her to do everything that a typical housewife is supposed to do. And in the end, he ended up accepting her not being the typical housewife.
And what I also took away from the two films, Little Women and Woman of the Year, is that she represented a strong woman who didn't conform to the gender stereotypes and the socially constructed expectations of a housewife during her time. She wasn't afraid to be authentically herself, and if she didn't fit the mold of what women were expected to be, she made her own mold.
There was a quote from a review that I found that was from Woman of the Year. It said, "Until recently, the love story seemed to be a threatened genre in Hollywood. Women characters in movies were more likely to stab you than kiss you. Then came Sleepless in Seattle and Only You, and now Love Affair. All movies about nice people getting into goofy misunderstandings because they love one another so much. You have to be in the right mood to enjoy movies like this, or maybe they put you in the mood."
She opened up opportunities for women in film. They were able to be love interests and be the main role instead of being subordinate to men, and she showed that women could be dynamic characters. All right, thank you.